Good morning and welcome to our Wednesday show, Jour du Galop on Inside News. Mark Neisius, I'm going to be going through Saturday's card. Yesterday's training, there was a couple of barrier trials. There was a nice gallop as well, and then obviously some sand work as well. We're going to go through that this morning on our Wednesday show, Jour du Galop. Let's talk about Saturday. We had quite a good day here at Inside News. Our two bankers arrived. There was Henry Tudor and It's Him. They both arrived, and then my value bet, which was Silver Song, unfortunately ran second. But he ran second to a horse that's one of my 2-2 follows, and that was quite annoying that he was a horse that I've been following. Lucky at last, eventually win at last, and well done to Dek, and well done to Shirish Narang. And if you listen to Waza FM on Friday night when we did our show, I was on air with Ravi Rawa, and he gave us a couple of nice sort of tips as far as the Narang stable was concerned, and well done to Ravi Rawa. Well done to Shirish Narang as well. Back into the winners box, and nice to see a stable that's going through a little bit of a tough time. Nice to see them back into the winners enclosure. Right, let's talk about Saturday, the feature race, and it was won by Henry Tudor, as I mentioned, was a banker of ours, and I was very surprised when I walked onto the track and people asked me, what's your banker? And I said Henry Tudor, It's Him, and they said no, Henry Tudor can't win. And I couldn't understand that, because as far as I was concerned, no Barrack Street, he was the horse that everyone had to beat, and he didn't surprise me when he won. Confident ride from Randall Simons, it took him off to the front, very nice confident ride off to the front. He was never headed, and he actually went on to win a very decent race, did Henry Tudor. I think there's more in the tank as far as this horse is concerned. He's obviously a very, very nice trainer. Pritam Dabby continues to impress me as a trainer. He's really doing well, and obviously he's got a very, very bright future ahead of him as a trainer, and obviously as far as his stable is concerned, he's doing quite a good job, is Pritam Dabby, and he's really turning the winners over. Well done to him. Right, that was Henry Tudor. What else I wanted to talk about, we also said would be very hard to beat, was all about the base. I know a lot of Mauritians call it about the bass, but it's actually about the base. And terrific ride once again by Manuel Nunes. He made a very, very early and decisive move, and that's exactly what won in the race at the end of the day. And well, he's a great jockey, Manuel Nunes, and I think it's safe to say that the championship is in the bag. I can't see anyone catching, even though Derek David once again had two winners. The Vincent Allard, Derek David fairy tale just continues. They bagged another two winners this week. Obviously, It's Him was always going to win, but Promissory, also Ravi Rawa actually tipped to us on Friday night on Waza FM. He won a very good race. I must be honest, I wasn't too bullish about his chances, but after speaking to Ravi, I did put him into my exotics. But well done to Derek David, Vincent Allard. They just keep the winners rolling over. Manuel Nunes, Shyam Herchand, also very, very powerful combination to follow, especially towards the end of the season. I don't think they're going to stop now. Had a look at some of their horses yesterday morning. Wow, their horses really look in good condition, the Herchand stable, and it's definitely going to be worthwhile following them. Right, the pick 8 was a carryover, and I think that's probably thanks to Choir of Angels. Must be honest, I never even looked at Choir of Angels, and even with my three bankers, I bankered the Grey Crusader, I bankered Henry Tudor and It's Him, but unfortunately I could never find Choir of Angels. So there is a bit of a, well, there is a nice carryover moving on to Saturday's meeting, and we're going to be looking forward to that. And then obviously some jockey news. Daryl Holland, well, he's no more here. He's no more riding for Ricky Mangard. He has asked for his release. Obviously, he was off for a month, I think 4 weeks. First meeting back, copped a 3-week suspension, and I think, well, he probably made the right decision. Probably things aren't just not going well for him here in Mauritius, and he has made the decision to leave. So, unfortunately, no more Daryl Holland. I thought he rode a couple of good races this season, and we're going to miss Daryl Holland. Right, let's talk about my horse to follow for Saturday, and the horse I'm going to follow is from the Nagadu stable. That was Perfect Pursuit, and he has shown absolutely nothing up to Saturday's second race. All the equipment was removed, except they did put a headband on him, and well, they tried the headband and it seemed to work. Once again he travelled off the pace, but I have to say he was travelling a lot better this time, even though he was turning, well, he turned to the straight second last, and it took a little bit of time to quicken, but that last sort of 50 meters, 100 to 50 meters, he was really finishing that race off well under Swapnil Rama. and if you go back to South African form, he did win over 1,600 meters in South Africa. Combine that with the sort of equipment change, the fact that he looks like he's probably a little better now that the season's coming to an end. He's a lot fitter. He's had a couple of runs under the belt. He's going to be, well, particularly in the benchmark 31, where he's going to be a lot more competitive, over a little bit further. I think Perfect Pursuit, listen, I wouldn't be banking him next time, but I think he's just also, it's going to be worthwhile following, because I think he's a little bit better than what he has shown us from his South African form. All right, that was Perfect Pursuit. To be honest with you, there weren't many horses that you could sort of pick up from Saturday's meeting to say, well, next time I'm going to be having a bet on that horse. But anyway, Perfect Pursuit, probably worthwhile following for the future. Right, let's talk about the barrier trials. There were 3, and I want to talk about all 3 of them, because a couple of new horses, and the last one we had that was Play Another Tune, that's coming back from a little bit of injury, and I wanted to have a look at his gallop. The first gallop, well, the Gajara stable, they had 2 horses. They had this new horse, Lanza. He's in the red color. Ultra impressive gallop from this horse. He jumped out very quick, showed plenty of speed, turned for home, and he just won this gallop as easy as he liked. Looking at his form, it's not surprising to see him perform as well as he did. He's got top 3-year-old form, this horse. He's been placed in 2 feature races as a 2-year-old, and he did win a Pinnacle Stakes as a 3-year-old, which takes quite a lot of doing to win a Pinnacle Stakes as a 3-year-old back in South Africa. He looks very, very promising. He's going to be a nice horse for next year. Hakim from the Ramdin stable, he had the blue jacket. He's a 2-time winning 5-year-old. His best form is over a little bit of ground, so I see they sort of jumped out and they eased him quite quickly, but he was finishing the gallop quite nicely. Obviously he was never going to beat Lanza, but this horse might just take 1 or 2 runs before we see the best of him. But nice to see Raj Ramdin with a fairly, looks like a nice sort of average horse, Hakim, and he should be able to boost the Ramdin stable. Then Newlands, well, once again, he jumped out, he refused to gallop, and I think from what I've read on social media, I think Newlands has had his day in Mauritius. He is apparently going to be retired because he's just refusing to work. At the end of the day, keep an eye on this horse, Lanza. Maybe not this season, or maybe even if he does run this season, you never know. But he's a top horse that could win first time out. But I think he's going to be a top horse next season. So let's keep an eye on Lanza. Right, the second barrier trial, we had 4 newcomers here. Marauding from the Gajara stable, Lagacia, also Gajara stable, Ernesto from the Vincent Allen stable, and then a horse called Straight from Sharish Narang. Let's start off with the winner, Marauding. He's a 1-time winner from Cape Town. Even though he did take a few runs to win, I did like his 2 runs after he won. So in other words, the 2 runs after his maiden, he stepped up to handicaps, and they weren't, he wasn't disgraced. He's only rated 29. I think he'll be a good asset to the stable. He beat his stable companion, Lagacio, who had the green jacket, and I reckon this is the horse that I liked out of this whole gallop. I prefer him to Marauding, to be honest with you. He was bought as a 2-year-old, so only arrives with a rating of 25, even though he is a winner. He's got a lot of tons of scope for improvement, and this horse he beat. His form line looks very, very good. The horse that he beat came out and won again. Well, not won again, but the horse that he beat came out and won. So the form line's strong, and he's going to be a top horse for next season. This was Lagacio, especially the fact that they bought him as a 2-year-old. He's going to kick off his career off as a 25 benchmark, a rating of 25. Ernesto is from the Vincent Alice stable. He had the blue jacket. This horse hasn't won yet, but he's been placed a couple of times. He seems to stay well, and they should be all right off that 0.26 rating in those staying races. He's probably going to he's going to probably need 1 or 2 runs, Ernesto. And then Straight. Well, Straight was bought as a 2-year-old from the Narang stable. He has not won up to date. He's going to come off a rating of 21. He hasn't got the best form back in South Africa, but obviously on that rating of 21, he must have quite a lot of scope for that natural improvement. At the end of the day, well, the end of these 2 barrier trials, you can see that the Gajara stable bought some nice horses this year, and I think they're going to be a lot more competitive or more powerful yard next year, just judging on a couple of the newcomers that did barrier trial. Talking about the Gajara stable, barrier number 3, quickly, I'm just going to show you the final straight because we only had 2 horses to talk about. Play Another Tune. We all know what he did in the beginning of this season. Unfortunately, he did get injured. It looks like he's on his way back. He's put up a he's put up some nice work. He's put up a nice barrier trial here as well. He worked alongside Pritam Dabby's new horse, Seattle Kid, and Seattle Kid, well, he galloped pretty good next to Play Another Tune, and he's a 2-time winner with some decent form, and he looks like a promising. He's going to be a nice horse in Mauritius. He's only going to run off that low rating of 33. That's where he's going to start, and he's got some good form, this horse. So that benchmark 33, pretty good. Galloping nicely next to Play Another Tune. And then just to let you know that Tawanui did jump with him, but just like Newlands, he also refused to gallop. So from what I've read as well, apparently Tawanui will be he'll be retired as well, which is a little bit unfortunate because he did do quite well for the Nagadu stable last year, and he looked like he was going to be a decent horse, but he's just decided he's had enough of island life, and he is going to be retired. But the thing that came out of these 3 barrier trials is obviously that the Gajara stable looked like they got some nice horses coming through, so we'll keep an eye on those. Right, then we're going to talk about the history horse. Well, the horse that's attempting to make history, he had a beautiful gallop on the grass. That's White River. He is looking to make trying to be a horse after many years to win all 4 classics. And White River, I definitely think he can pull this off. In fact, I'm very confident he will pull it off. I liked his gallop. He started the gallop off with West Coast Warrior. A little bit naughty once again when he moved up to the back stretch there, but eventually then he did get going under Yashin Imamdi. What I liked, he picked up a sprinter, Nottinghamshire, and he managed to finish this gallop off even better than Nottinghamshire. So that just proves to you what a top gallop this was. Very good gallop. I think White River is going to win the Gold Cup. In fact, I'm tipping him as early as a month ago when he won the Maiden Cup. I said there's no way anything's going to beat this horse in the Gold Cup, but obviously when it comes down to the race, we'll talk about that a little bit further. But he's a top horse, this White River. Very good gallop. I think he's from what I can see, the build up to the Gold Cup, his preparation has been perfect, and I do believe he's going to be a tough nut to crack in the final classic. Right, that was grasswork, gallops, everything. Let's move over to some sand work. And there are a couple of horses that I've picked up that probably are nominated this week. Maybe 1 or 2 of them aren't, but we will mention that. But let's start off with All Aboard. Banker last time, he worked very well under Anand Bandhu. Absolutely thumping Netflix last time, and All Aboard, he only received 4 points for that win, which is quite a fair penalty. Well, he probably got off a little bit lightly because, like I said, he won absolutely going away, and only the 4-point penalty. I think he's still good enough off this rating, although he isn't not entered this week. He can easily score when he steps out next time. Let's see when he does. He's in terrific shape, this horse, All Aboard. Like I said, the Herchon stable horses are really looking in good nick, and All Aboard definitely worthwhile following again next time he comes up. I see he is not entered this week. Right, another horse that we liked last time, well, I know Shahil and myself were pretty confident about his chances, is Al Sakra from the Gajara stable. Brilliant win, and I thought it was a brilliant ride from Oliver Plessé when they beat Ema. It looked like he was beaten, and he came back. I think Ema went past him in the neck. Al Sakra came back and beat him. And another horse that was treated fairly by the handicapper. He only got 4 points as well. I think he's going to be very competitive in a benchmark of 41. And he worked very well alongside Romanus did Al Sakra. Let's keep an eye on him. I wouldn't be surprised if he steps out this week. Right, then we're going to obviously we try and talk about sort of horses in every sort of class, and Blue Jeans, he's in the first race at 0.20. We all know that this horse he'll obviously be very competitive in a 0.20, especially over the 1400. Remember, 2 of his 3 wins in Mauritius have been over 1400. The other win was over a 1365, so he loves a trip. This is the first time this horse has ever dropped down to 0.20. He's been racing in 25, 26 and 31, and I have to say there was nice encouraging work alongside Xanthers. We all know Raj needs a winner quite desperately, and Blue Jeans in that first race, he could quite easily pull off the first race at 0.20. It's not a strong race, and this horse is capable on his day, so let's keep an eye when that book comes out on Thursday afternoon, exactly where he's drawn, what he's taking on. Blue Jeans working well, I'm going to keep an eye on him. Right, then let's talk about Gilbert Rosset's Ovation Award. He has been, well, he's proven quite expensive to follow. He's been backed a few times. He's been fancied a few times. His South African form is too good to ignore. I mean, he's got some top South African form. He's had the 3 rounds under his belt now. He's back to a distance that should suit him. I thought that maybe last time was a little bit far. I prefer the distance that he's nominated in this week. And even though he finds himself in a tough field, it is a very strong field that Ovation Award finds himself in. In fact, I think he's in in 2 races. Yes, he is. He's in 2 races. Both of them are tough races, but I feel that this horse is going to sort of knock us, well, he's going to blow us away one meeting. He's going to show us what he's worth. And Ovation Award, nice work, looking well. Definitely a horse that I will follow on Saturday. Right, well connected. Simon Jones still looking for that elusive win. He's improving with each run. This horse, it dead heated last time for 3rd. He tried the front running tactics. I don't believe this horse has to be in front. It was a 1500. He's going to drop down in distance a little bit, and I do think there's a big runner. Remember, just like Ovation Award, this horse is in quite a strong race, so we'll just have to have a look at when the final card comes out with well connected. But I do believe that he looks like he's ready to run a big race. Could he be Simon Jones's first winner? I personally hope that he is. Right, then Wilder Rising. Well, he's been running some strong, well, in a lot stronger than what he will be taking on Saturday, and he's probably been running in a distance short of his best. This time 1850. I think he's going to be a lot more competitive in this race. Remember, he will be taking on the mighty Perplexing, but he's probably going to be the biggest danger to Perplexing, especially over the 1850. Working well, like I mentioned earlier, on Manuel Nunes and Shem Hirchan. They in top form. Wilder Rising, I like the way he walked off the track. He really looked very good, this horse, and he's probably going to be the biggest danger to the Gojira runner Perplexing come Saturday's race, the feature race of the afternoon. Right, Vascostreettractor, well, he's one of my favorite horses this year. I think he's one of the better buys this year. I love the way that Jamie Aliasen has ridden this horse in his last 2 starts. He's really picked up the 2 races very nicely. 2 good rides from Jamie Aliasen. He has only received 9 points for the 2 wins, and he does step up to a benchmark 51. I honestly believe he's capable to be very competitive in this benchmark 51. Remember, he did beat Edge of the Sun last time, which is quite a good form line, and he worked alone yesterday. He's in good shape, this horse, Vascostreettractor. He's a good horse, and I do think that once again he's going to be a big runner come Saturday afternoon. I see he is nominated, so let's see if he's going to take part in his race. And then we're going to finish off with Northern Rebel, a horse that I really fancied last week. Unfortunately, he was withdrawn. I think from what I heard, he kicked the wall while being saddled up. He seems okay. He seems like there's no problem with him. Striding out very well is Northern Rebel. Once again, he is in a 0.26. Remember, he ran a top race in, I think it was a benchmark 36 last time when he ran 3rd, and well, he's dropped down to a much lesser category this time, and if everything, well, it seems like everything's okay. Good work alongside Mr. Vengeance. I think Northern Rebel has got a big chance coming in that last race on Saturday afternoon. Right, well, there we go. That is the Sandwork, the Barrier Trials, the Galop. We spoke about our last week's meeting, our horse to follow for the future as well, our normal Wednesday show. Thank you very much for joining us. Remember, we will be back on Friday morning with On The Mark. Not exactly sure if I'm going to be alone or if someone's going to be with me. I hear Shahil might be writing exams again, so we'll see how that goes. But catch up with me on Friday. We've had a bit of a good run. We've managed to find a couple of winners recently. Let's hope that continues. Let's hope we can help you find some winners. Thank you very much for joining us. Goodbye.